This week on the Unknowledgeables,
we're watching Kayaking,
which, as usual, we know nothing about.
Shuttle 2, do you have forward thrusters?
Houston, I don't know.
Hello and welcome to the Unknowledgeables. My name is Kit.
And I'm Inti.
And this week we're watching the Women's Kayak London 2012 Olympics Canoe Slalom. So we're watching, I thought these were different things, but we're watching the kayaking, which is also the canoe slalom.
Yeah, in my head, kayaking was like a one-person small little boat that sort of fits in and that makes them look like they don't have any legs. And a canoe was like a long thing with like 4 people sitting in it, all rowing together.
Yeah, I think of a canoe as being bigger and a kayak as being smaller, but apparently they are just the same thing.
But kayak maybe sounds Japanese.
If kayak is Japanese, maybe that means they're going to be rolled up in it somehow, like they're a little sushi roll and they're all rolled up in their little boat and you put some sesame seeds on top.
Yeah, maybe canoe slalom. Maybe slalom was meant to say salmon. And they put that in sushi.
So all of the terms in kayaking are also sushi things. So you've got the salmon roll, which got misspelled over time into the slalom course. You've got sashimi, so that's the...
It's the splash shimi.
Yeah, splashini.
Yeah.
The splashini. I'll have the slalom roll with the splashini.
So do your best Japanese accent.
Howdy, y'all. We're here in Louisiana. Gonna cook us up some good old-fashioned...
That's the deep south of America.
No, that's Canada.
So when I think of Japan... Wait, who's a famous Japanese person I can try copy?
Beat Takeshi is Japanese. The guy who is in Takeshi's Castle.
Oh, the Liverpudlian guy.
What?
the Liverpudlian guy who's like Red
Takeshi's
Dwarf.
Castle. Yeah, that's the most famous Japanese guy I know is Craig Charles. It's like, well, wait, I definitely know that Takeshi's Castle is named after Beat Takeshi, the Japanese actor, and he hosts Takeshi's Castle. Okay, let's put on Takeshi's Castle.
Guys!
Guys, stop making these robots fight each other. Oh, was that a haiku? Oh, the wonderful sounds of Japanese. Because that had 5 beats, 7 beats, and 5 beats. Guys! That had 5 beats. Stop making these robots. 7 beats. Because, you know, Japanese, they've got the hard R. Like, at least for us, because we're from southern England, we've got like R as our letter R, which is very like a W. But in Japan, it's a lot harder. Like it's na, ni, ru, ne, no. So it's a hard, like, tongue-tapping R. So that's what you hear. These robots.
These prawn crackers. They got crackers. Can I have some prawn crackers?
Mr. Charles, you're still on the microphone. They can hear you in the robot arena. Give us some prawn crackers!
That's the hardest R ever. Yeah, they really do have hard Rs. Crackers!
I went to university in Liverpool, and I remember I was talking to a guy who was from there, another student, and he was saying about when he was learning Arabic, and all of the other native English people who were learning it were having real trouble learning some of the sounds that we don't often have in English, like kh and that kind of stuff. Whereas he was like, oh, like I know that. That's how I say like chicken. I say chicken. And it's like, oh, okay, I've already got that sound in my repertoire.
What do you think you know about kayaking / canoeing? Or kayaking / canoeing?
/ canoeing with robots. I'm so bad at this accent. If someone didn't know, because we hadn't explicitly said that we're trying to do Craig Charles, who is from Liverpool, no one would know what accent I'm trying to do. So what do I know about kayaking and canoeing? I know what a slalom is because I've seen skiing slalom. And in skiing slalom, they are skiing down a course and they've got all these different obstacles or like flags and they have to ski under the flags. And so they have to get as many points as they can by like scoring a point, going under that flag, going under that flag. So I'm guessing a canoe slalom is a course where, kind of like whitewater rafting, which we've done together.
A slalom is like a route that you take or like a one-way kind of system that you have to go round?
Well, it's a roll that you make as opposed to a route that you take. If you don't want it with too much splashini, then I think it's a course. Yeah, a route. And you're trying to maintain control of your boat so that you hit all of these flag points.
When I think of whitewater rafting, obviously that's like 6 people in a really big boat.
Yeah, definitely. Whitewater rafting is one big boat, loads of people in it. Everyone was oaring, right? Everyone was rowing and trying to keep us moving forward.
No, there was one person who would stand at the front and shout what to do.
Security!
Yeah.
They'd always shout security to be like, brace, brace.
But it kind of really didn't feel like it made too much difference. It felt like we were just like in the hands of Mother Nature, and the river's just going to take us wherever we go.
What I remember them always saying is you have to row, you have to paddle really, really hard because we can only steer if we're going faster than the water that we're in.
Maybe he wants us to go so fast and so far away that maybe if we go faster than the speed of light and we go far away enough,
you'll break the universe.
Security! Break the universe!
That is the ultimate cause to shout that word. See, I wonder if any of this is a metaphor for life. If you don't want to be carried along with the current, you need to put enough effort in that you're going faster than the current. So, like, if you don't want to be dragged along with the crowd into peer pressure stuff, then you need to be thinking ahead of the crowd.
If there's anything that people are making you do that you don't want to do, just move faster than the speed of light.
All right, guys, now we guess the rules.
The only thing I know is that I know nothing.
All right, so should I go first? Shall I guess some rules? I guess it's a race, but a one person at a time race. So it's not like two people go in kayaks and race against each other like that. I think it's a one person at a time race. It's a course they've got, like skiing, like a one person at a time, and they've got to go through, got to get round certain flags.
I think that is a solid guess. I think it's one person in a canoe. I think they have got a boat which is pointy at both ends, and they've got...
That's one of the rules.
Like, that is a rule. If they get into the thing with a boat that's pointy on all four ends, like a star-shaped boat, they just go, get out! Breaking the rules!
What stars have four ends? You weird star-shaped guy.
What variations of stars can you think of that are used in, like, different nations' symbolism and flags and stuff? Because Israel and Judaism has got a 6-pointed star. A 5-pointed star is kind of like what tends to be used in the West. But yeah, like, I wonder, are there, like, Arabic countries that use 8-pointed stars to mean things?
Well, I think if someone wants to very quickly draw a star with straight lines, they'll do an 8-pointed one. Because they'll just draw a cross and then draw a cross through that cross.
Oh, like a Red Hot Chili Peppers asterisk kind of symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Azerbaijan, they've got a really funky star with 8 points.
That's 8 points to Azerbaijan!
The South Korean flag is awesome. It is a brilliant flag.
It's a Pepsi sign.
Yeah, it's the Pepsi sign. It's a yin-yang, but it's red and blue, and that's in the middle. And then the background of the flag is white, so it's a very nice, clean, minimalist-looking flag. And then you've got 4 symbols around the Pepsi symbol in the middle, and the 4 symbols are made up of black lines. Wow, that's amazing. On the Korean flag, each of those 4 symbols made up of black lines that surround the Pepsi symbol in the middle, they each stand for 7 things. Like, how can one tiny symbol stand for this much? So the 4 symbols stand for...
Brace yourself, audience. Okay, go. 7 things per 4 things.
And I'll be quizzing you on these later, Inti. I'll be quizzing you on these 28 things. So we've got the 4 symbols on the Korean flag. We've got solid line, solid line, solid line. We've got solid line, broken line, solid line.
I'm just going to put an image of this on the YouTube video, okay? Solid.
So they mean heaven, sun, moon, and earth, respectively. They also mean spring, autumn, winter, and summer, respectively. They also mean east, south, north, and west, respectively. And humanity, righteousness, intelligence, and courtesy, respectively. And father, daughter, son, mother. And heaven, fire, water, earth. And justice, fruition, wisdom, vitality.
Gee, and what, is that just one?
No, that's each of the 4. So when you look at each of the 4, you're like, oh, that's heaven, that's sun, that's moon, and that's earth.
Oh, I see.
But then you can look at the 4 of them again and go, oh, and that's spring, that's autumn, that's winter, and that's summer.
And then you look at it again, and you're like, no, oh, wait a minute.
Well, no, that's north, south, east, and west. No, wait a minute, that's vitality and righteousness. I'm going to get some chicken and rye. Which is, I'm going to get some chicken and some sun, autumn, south, righteousness, daughter, fire, fruition.
Awesome. Now on to the part of the podcast where we look up the Wikipedia rules.
The They say unknowledgeability is bliss.
Canoe slalom is a competitive sport with the aim to navigate a decked canoe or kayak. Does decked mean like people are walking about on the top of your canoe? So I suppose decked means it's not an open boat, like it's closed around you, it's sealed up, through a course of hanging downstream or upstream gates on river rapids in the fastest time possible. So that's half a ding.
Yeah, half a ding dong.
So you're trying to do it in the fastest time possible. We didn't mention trying to do it fast as possible.
Where I'm from, or where we're both from, but when I was young and when I was living on the streets, decked mean when you hit somebody in the face with your skateboard, which I did once. So I think a decked canoe is just a canoe that's been smashed with skateboards.
They have to. That's the challenge. Like, they're not racing in new canoes; they're racing in decked canoes. Each gate consists of 2 poles hanging from a wire strung across the river, of which 6 to 7 must be upstream gates.
That's where the salmon comes in. Hey, don't look away from Wikipedia right now. How long do you think it typically takes to complete a slalom course, salmon course?
Well, you got to roll up the fish in the seaweed. You got to use the vinegared rice, press it on either side. 5 minutes.
80 seconds to 120 seconds.
Wow, so 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes for the fastest paddlers.
Yeah.
If the competitor's boat, paddle or body touches either pole of the gate, a time penalty of 2 seconds is added. If you miss a gate completely or deliberately push the gate to pass through or go through the gate in the wrong direction or upside down, or if you go through the gate in the wrong order, a 50-second penalty is given. Wow, that is significant. So you're trying to get through it. We didn't manage to guess this, that you're trying to get through it in the fastest time. And it's not like how many gates did you do, how many did you not do as a separate thing. No. It's just every missed gate adds on 50 seconds to your score.
Shit, that is a lot of... There's no coming back from that, it seems.
Yeah, unless everyone is
there.
expected to miss at least one gate. But you're right, you kind of may as well give up because you're going to be so low down. Only 1 penalty can be incurred on each gate, and this will be taken as the highest one. So that's like when you haven't paid for a train ticket.
Which we tried once, and we got stung.
Oh, that was so... We got a £20 fine because we were trying to lie our way out of having to pay a £2.30 train ticket.
It wasn't even that. It was, we got on Southwick, but we wanted to pretend we got on from Hove. So we still would have had to pay like a £2 ticket.
Oh, it was so foolish. To save 80p and we got charged £20 each. It was so utterly... That should be on the flag of where we're from. It's you and me just red-faced laughing in disgust at ourselves as we have to fork over 20 quid each.
We couldn't hold in the laughter when they caught us because they asked us, like, well, where did you get on then?
Because we had been going up and we've been like, oh, let's say Hove. And then, because that's closer to Brighton Station where we're getting off, so we won't have to pay as much.
You said Hove, and he was like, well, how'd you get through the barriers then?
Without a ticket.
I said, oh, he's not from here, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said, no, we got it at Southwick. He's not from here. And this was me speaking with like a Brighton accent.
Well, the worst thing was as soon as he looked at us after that terrible excuse, we just started laughing.
I don't want to reveal how old we were when that happened. I'll just let the audience continue imagining that we were 11 because that was embarrassing. Out of the symbols on the Korean flag, the 4 symbols, here are the ones that we did not manage to fulfill. Gion, humanity. No. Ri, righteousness. Definitely not. Gam, intelligence. Hell no. And Gon, courtesy, well, we were laughing in the ticket inspector's face. However, we did receive Gion, because we received justice. We had to pay £20 each. And we definitely gained Gam. We gained some wisdom.
If you can't handle me at my most unknowledgeable, you don't deserve me at my least ignorant.
2, 1, play! Wow, this looks really cool. This looks like an awesome course. So we've got a horseshoe-shaped whitewater rapids course. They look like there are blue bumpers projecting into the water on either side. So if you imagine kind of like the rungs of a ladder, but they're only attached on one edge. So you have to really navigate around them. You have to go left, right, get around these bumpers. And and we see animatics now showing us each of the locations of the gate. Some of the gates you go straightforwardly through, those are the green gates. And then some of the gates which are red, meaning you have to go through them upstream, you have to go past them, then go back on yourself to go through them, and then go through them. So you have to loop to go through those ones. Whereas the green gates you just go through forwardly.
We use the word animatics every episode.
It's not a word.
That's the word.
It's not a word that exists. Animatic means a preliminary version of a film. Produced by shooting successive sections of a storyboard and adding a soundtrack. This is like, if there are any film buffs or people who work in the film industry who've been listening to our podcast, they're like, really? Why is that on screen? Penalty seconds, hits 3, misses 0. Oh, if you hit it, you get a penalty of 2 seconds. So she did 3 hits, so she got a penalty of 6 seconds added on. But she had 0 misses. If you miss a gate, or if you go through a gate the wrong way, or if you go through a gate upside down, like, I feel like you got worse problems if you go through a gate upside down than the 50-second penalty.
Hey, where's this lady from? So we've got the next lady up here.
This is S. Hilgatova from the Czech Republic. Wow, she's taking it at a really fast pace. She's blasting through these gates. She's like getting all this water sprayed in her face. She's taking a really aggressive stance towards these gates. This is great.
Is it just me, or does it look like they're wearing... Oh, it must be a life jacket underneath that they're wearing, right? I was going to say it looks like they're wearing loads of padding, like some sort of American football player.
Yeah, or it looks a bit like they're wearing like 5 jumpers. And it's like, hey, I get that it's cold, but you're going to be in there for 2 minutes. I think it'd be more streamlined if you take off all of those Christmas jumpers. Wow, well done. S. Hilgatova of Czech Republic got 20 seconds faster than the Irish player.
I like to think this is part of a really varied triathlon where straight after this she's got to go into an American football game.
So that's why they got the helmets.
Do you think they get to practice on exactly this course? Or
Yeah.
is it new to them every time?
Yeah, I have no idea how that works. In stuff like this in the Olympics where this is a very specific course, do they just practice whitewater rafting in general and gates in general, and this course is a jealously guarded secret by the Olympics committee, and like no one can find out the exact ins and outs of this course and where the flags will be? Is it just decided on the day, like the officials and Craig Charles just throw down some
No, because then the first person has such a big disadvantage because people are going to be able to see the first person.
Yeah, unless all of the competitors, because they must already be all strapped into their boats, so maybe they're like horses, they're all in a stable at the beginning of the whitewater course, and then like they're just kept in the dark with a little bit of hay, and then like the gate comes up and it's like shum, one of them shoots out.
I was watching yesterday actually Russell Brand on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And obviously Russell Brand's a really avid vegan and Joe Rogan's a really avid hunter.
Right.
But one of the interesting things he was talking about was a video that he saw online of a deer getting eaten by a bear.
Yeah. It must have been horrible for the deer.
The deer was making sounds that were chilling.
Yeah.
Like they were, and it was a slow death.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan was...
Surely it's better for me to just shoot a deer in the head and it is just suddenly lights out.
Yeah.
And then surely that's better for the deer than being eaten by a bear.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan's not in any way into factory farming at all, or really any farming, I don't think. So he only eats meat that he's hunted, I think, unless he goes to a restaurant, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, if there are people who have that kind of opinion and actually mean it and follow through with it, you know, if there is someone who actually says, I only eat meat that I hunt, so, you know, sometimes I'll just go for a 3-month stretch of being vegan because there doesn't happen to be any meat around me that I can hunt, or I'm living in a city and not near the forest, or I was really busy for 3 months, I didn't have time to go on a hunting holiday, or I was going hunting every day for 3 months and I just didn't manage to catch anything. Yeah. You know, and if they said, so that meant I ended up being vegan for 3 months. If they actually follow through with it in that way, then it's like, okay, I got to give you props for that.
Would you give horse racers props?
If they ate their horses. I would give horse racers prop horses so they didn't have to kill real horses. so if racehorses, if a lot of them die by being forced to run, like all their muscles screaming, bleeding, frothing at the nose, as fast as they can possibly go, and then they break one of their legs, they tumble, they smash their face right into the ground, they're in tremendous pain, just broken their leg, they're heaving for breath, they're choking on blood, and then they get shot in the face. It's just like, hey, that ain't good. That ain't nice.
A lot of people, when they do take their dog or cat to be put down at the vet, they don't like to be there because it's such a horrible thing to see.
Awfully sad. That was so sad to read.
I know. And so the person would leave. The person would leave because they don't want to see it because it's horrific. And so the vet's last, or sort of the animal's last moments are frantically looking around a room they're unfamiliar with. But then I think, but that's just a couple of seconds of sadness for the animal.
It's true, but we do place a lot of importance on what is the final thing. And in our psychology, that can really colour our experience of the whole thing. So I was getting a massage once, and it was a really lovely, relaxing massage. And then to end the massage, 45 minutes of lovely, relaxing time. And then for the final 10 seconds of the massage, which is only like 1% of the massage, but the final 10 seconds, to my surprise, she leaned down, and I was face down on the table, and she leaned down to my ear and whispered that we were finished. And it was really surprising and unpleasant. And I didn't know it was going to happen. And it was like, and this was in Spanish. So like, lovely, relaxing massage. And then just suddenly out of nowhere, estamos terminado. This is Emily Fair from France. Spoiler alert, the video is called Emily Fair Wins Women's Kayak Gold. Swishing through it, very skillful. This looks like she's practiced on this specific track a lot of times. So surely, is it like everyone gets to practice on this Olympic track? Or is it like there's only one made? Because then the home team, in this case London, has a massive advantage. Or is it that every country builds a replica of this track? Like London sends out the schematics and every country has to build a replica? Like, how does it work?
Maybe the track always has to be the same, but the flags are always different.
Yeah, that would make sense. So they're randomly assigned and everyone's in the stable at the beginning, hoping they don't get flipped upside down, choke on some water, and then get shot in the head. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Is she going to be at 105?
Yes, look at her. She's so close to the end. That's a perfect. Boom.
Wow.
100 and... Was it 102, 103?
Wow! She was half a second faster than the Australian. The Australian was on 106.5 and the French got 105.8. She was half a second faster than the Australian. Imagine how you would feel as the Australian, though. Like, you would think, oh, if I had just done one thing, if I'd just gotten out of the stable more quickly, if I hadn't been worried about being shot in the head.
Thanks for listening to the show.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe.
And if there's anything else you'd like us to watch
and become less unknowledgeable about,
send us a link on Twitter at The Unk Podcast.
That's at THEUNK Podcast.
And if you're hungry for more Kit and Inti, I've got a musical rom-com called Love Pill the Musical.
And I have a feminist sketch show called The Second Sketch.
And you can find them wherever you listen to podcasts.
See you next time! And just like it's just makes it a little bit better for cleaning up.
Yeah, I've done it.
Cool. Let's put that whole section as the bonus clip.